Chief researcher Zix-427 hadn't expected to make history today. The Martian excavation was supposed to be routine. Another quick survey of the red planet's subsurface for their ongoing catalog of solar system archaeological sites. But as their quantum scanning array penetrated deeper beneath the rust-colored sand, something impossible appeared on their screens. Confirmatory scan requested, chirped the ship's its holographic interface flickering with unusual intensity. Detected patterns suggests artificial construction of non-catalogued origin. Zix-427's crystalline appendages vibrated with barely contained excitement as they adjusted their environmental suit. After 3 centuries of exploring humanity's abandoned worlds, this was the first time they'd found something that wasn't in the historical database. "Show me," they commanded, their translator converting the thought patterns into standard galactic basic. The holographic display expanded, revealing a sprawling complex buried nearly a kilometer beneath the Martian surface. The structure extended for several square kilometers, its architecture unlike anything in their archaeological records. But what caught Zix-427's attention were the pods, thousands upon thousands of them, arranged in concentric circles around a central hub. Life sign analysis, demanded junior researcher Krell, their bioluminescent patches pulsing with scientific curiosity. The young Luminian had joined the expedition fresh from the academy, still full of theoretical knowledge but lacking practical experience. "These readings can't be correct." The A's response was immediate. No organic material detected. However, residual energy signatures indicate recent technological activity within the last solar rotation. Zix-427's crystalline structure flickered with confusion. According to all known records, humans had abandoned Mars over 3 centuries ago during the Great Migration. Their civilization had been primitive by galactic standards, barely capable of interplanetary travel, let alone the kind of technology these scans suggested. "Assemble the expedition team," they ordered. "Full containment protocols. If there's active technology down there, we follow first contact procedures." Within hours, their team had established a base camp above the facility's main entrance. The massive doors, sealed for centuries, bore markings in ancient human script that their linguistics AI struggled to fully translate. Project Chrysalis. Humanity's tomorrow. Dr. Ven 32, their xenotechnology specialist, hovered near the control panel, their gaseous form swirling with concentration. "The security systems are still active," they announced. "Primitive by our standards, but elegantly designed. They wanted this place to be found. Eventually." As if responding to their words, the facility's external lights suddenly activated, casting an eerie blue glow across the Martian landscape. The main doors shuddered, decades of dust cascading from their surfaces as ancient mechanisms ground into motion. "By the cosmic core," whispered Krell, their bioluminescence dimming in awe. "They're opening." The team watched in stunned silence as the massive doors slowly parted, revealing a dark corridor that stretched deep into the facility. The air that rushed out was sterile, processed. This wasn't an abandoned ruin, but a carefully preserved time capsule. "Analysis of internal atmosphere," Zix-427 ordered, their scientific training taking over despite their excitement. "Any signs of biological contamination?" "Atmosphere is engineered for human survival," the AI reported. "No pathogens detected. Oxygen levels at 21%, nitrogen at 78%, temperature maintained at 293 Kelvin. Something about this felt wrong. Humans didn't have this level of environmental control technology when they left Mars. The historical records were clear about their limitations, yet here was evidence of systems that had maintained perfect conditions for centuries. As they ventured deeper into the facility, their lights revealed rows upon rows of cylindrical pods, each large enough to hold a human body. But unlike traditional stasis units, these pods were empty and showed signs of having been deliberately evacuated. "Chief," called Dr. Ven 32 from a nearby console. I've accessed their main computer system. You need to see this." The screen flickered to life, displaying a message that would change their understanding of human history forever. "To those who find this facility, welcome to Project Chrysalis. If you're reading this, it means humanity's greatest gamble has paid off. We are no longer here, not because we failed, but because we succeeded. What you've discovered isn't a tomb or an archive. It's a cocoon. And we finally spread our wings." The message was signed, Dr. Marcus Wong, Project Director, 2157 CE. Zix-427's crystalline form pulsed with the realization that they hadn't discovered an abandoned graveyard. They'd found humanity's chrysalis, the place where an entire species had engineered its own metamorphosis. But into what? The facility's AI suddenly activated, its holographic interface taking the form of a human female. "Welcome, researchers. I am ARIA, the Advanced Research Intelligence Assistant. I've been waiting 327 years to fulfill my final protocol, sharing humanity's story with those who would follow our footsteps among the stars." As ARIA's hologram flickered in the darkness, Zix-427 realized that every assumption their civilization had made about humanity's disappearance was wrong. They hadn't died out or fled in desperation. They had planned something far more ambitious. And somewhere out there, among the countless stars, humanity's children were waiting to be found. The question was, were the galaxy's civilizations ready for what humanity had become? ARIA's holographic form cast a soft blue glow through the facility's main control center as she began accessing centuries-old data archives. Chief Researcher Zix-427 and their team watched in fascination as holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing fragments of humanity's last days on Mars. Project Chrysalis was initiated in 2157, ARIA explained, her voice carrying an unmistakable note of pride. But its origins date back to the discovery of 2149. The air filled with a three-dimensional projection of Earth's night sky. At its center, a strange object pulsed with an otherworldly light. This object, which humanity named the Catalyst, appeared suddenly in Earth's orbit. It emitted a form of radiation unlike anything in our scientific records. Dr. Ven 32's gaseous form swirled with recognition. The Great Flash. Our astronomical archives recorded it, but we never knew its source. Initial panic gave way to something unexpected. ARIA continued. The catalyst's radiation began changing human DNA in subtle but significant ways. Dr. Marcus Wong was the first to recognize its true purpose. The hologram shifted to show a laboratory where a man in his 50s stood before a group of colleagues. His eyes blazed with intensity as he gestured to complex genetic diagrams behind him. According to Dr. Wong's research logs, accessed through my memory banks, the catalyst wasn't a threat. It was a gift. Or perhaps more accurately, a test. Krell 8 reported, their bioluminescent patches pulsing as they translated the ancient data. The radiation was triggering dormant genetic sequences in human DNA. Zix-427's crystalline structure vibrated with growing understanding. They were being prepared for something. ARIA nodded, her holographic form shifting to display various human genetic structures. The changes were subtle at first. Enhanced cellular regeneration, improved neural plasticity, but most importantly, the ability to survive in environments that should have been lethal to human physiology. The displays showed humans working in vacuum conditions with minimal protection, surviving in high radiation environments, and adapting to extreme pressures. Project Chrysalis wasn't just about preservation, ARIA explained. It was about transformation. Dr. Ven 32 moved to examine one of the empty pods more closely. These aren't standard stasis chambers. They're metamorphosis tanks. Correct, ARIA confirmed. Each pod was designed to accelerate and guide the genetic changes the catalyst had initiated. But humanity faced a problem. The process would take generations to complete naturally. They needed time, and they needed to ensure their survival while the changes took hold. The facility's lights dimmed as Eerie activated another recording. Dr. Wong appeared again, older now, his face lined with exhaustion, but his eyes still burning with purpose. The pods are ready. Phase 1 of Project Chrysalis begins tomorrow. 10,000 volunteers will enter metamorphosis, their genetic codes programmed for different eventual environments. Some for high-gravity worlds, others for ocean planets, still others for the vacuum of space itself. We're not just preserving humanity, we're diversifying it. Krell 8's bioluminescence flickered rapidly. But where did they go? These pods are empty. Eerie's hologram expanded, showing a map of nearby star systems. The facilities on Mars were just the beginning. Similar installations were built throughout the solar system, each designed to nurture a different branch of humanity's evolutionary tree. When the metamorphoses were complete, they dispersed, some to the outer solar system, others to nearby stars. Zix 427 moved to examine the facility's central control column. You said, Phase 1. What were the other phases? Eerie's form flickered momentarily. That information is restricted until certain conditions are met. But I can tell you this. Project Chrysalis was designed with multiple stages, each triggering when humanity reached specific evolutionary milestones. The empty pods, Dr. Ven 32 suddenly exclaimed, their gaseous form condensing with excitement. They're not empty because the subjects died or escaped. They're empty because the metamorphoses were successful. Indeed, Eerie confirmed. The last pod was evacuated 73 years ago. Its occupant had completed their transformation into a form capable of surviving in the methane seas of Titan. Zix 427's crystalline structure pulsed with the implications. Their civilization had spent centuries assuming they were studying the remains of a failed species, but the truth was far more incredible. Humanity hadn't gone extinct. They had become something else. Many something elses. Eerie, they asked, their translator struggling to convey the complexity of their thoughts. Why reveal this now? Why wait all these centuries? The AI's hologram smiled, an expression that somehow managed to convey both warmth and mystery. Because you're not the first to find this facility. You're just the first to meet the criteria for full disclosure. Before anyone could respond, new displays activated throughout the control center, showing readings from deep space. Signals, movements, signs of activity that had been dismissed as natural phenomena or technological glitches. Humanity's children are out there, Eerie said softly. And they've been watching, waiting to see how the galaxy's civilizations would develop. Would they be met with fear, hostility, or with the scientific curiosity and respect you've shown? The team stood in stunned silence as they realized the true scope of what they'd discovered. This wasn't just an archaeological find, it was first contact. But with a humanity that had engineered its own evolution into something far beyond their original form. And somewhere out there, these new humans were waiting to be found. The Awakening Protocol. Junior researcher Krell 8's natural bioluminescence cast dancing shadows across the ancient control panel as they attempted to access deeper levels of the facility's database. Their excitement over the discoveries had led to a moment of carelessness, a brush of their appendage against what appeared to be an inactive sensor pad. The facility's lighting suddenly shifted from its steady blue to a pulsing amber. Eerie's holographic form flickered and expanded, her expression changing from serene to alert. Awakening protocol initiated, she announced, her voice resonating with new authority. Quantum entanglement network activating. Establishing connections with sister facilities. Chief Researcher Zix 427's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. Krell 8, what did you do? I just touched it. The junior researcher's bioluminescent patches dulled with embarrassment. The panel seemed inactive. Dr. Ven 32's gaseous form swirled anxiously as new holographic displays blazed to life around them. These readings, they're coming from throughout the solar system and beyond. Eerie's form now filled the central chamber, her digital eyes scanning distant data streams only she could see. Project Chrysalis was never meant to be a one-way transformation. The pods weren't just for metamorphosis. They were communication nodes in a vast network, connecting all of humanity's children across the stars. The displays showed a map of the galaxy, but unlike any the research team had ever seen. Countless points of light began appearing, each representing a facility similar to the one they stood in. They weren't just on Mars or in the solar system. They stretched across thousands of light years. Impossible, Zix 427 whispered, their crystalline structure refracting light in patterns that expressed deep shock. The energy required to maintain such a network would be beyond any known civilization's capabilities. Eerie completed the thought. Unless that civilization had learned to harness energy in ways your science hasn't yet discovered. A new hologram materialized. A recording of Dr. Wong in his final days at the facility. His hair had gone white, but his eyes still held that same fierce intensity. To whoever activates this protocol, congratulations. You've just initiated humanity's reunion call. The metamorphosis tanks weren't just tools of transformation. They were nodes in a quantum network that spans the galaxy. Each transformed human carries within them a quantum signature that connects them to this network. We didn't just change our bodies, we reformed ourselves at the quantum level. Dr. Ven 32 moved closer to one of the displays, their gaseous form condensing with concentration. These readings, each point of light represents a different human subspecies. They've adapted to every conceivable environment. Correct, Eerie confirmed. Deep space void dwellers who feed on cosmic radiation. Ocean world swimmers who can process any form of liquid as oxygen. High-gravity warriors whose bones are stronger than steel. Low-gravity dancers who can manipulate magnetic fields with their thoughts. Each adapted perfectly to their chosen environment. Suddenly, the displays began showing real-time data streams, actual communications from the transformed humans, but the information was like nothing the research team had ever encountered. I don't understand this data format, Krell 8 admitted, their bioluminescence pulsing with confusion. You wouldn't, Eerie explained. It's not just data, it's quantum-encoded consciousness. The transformed humans don't just communicate with words or signals. They share entire mental states across the network. They're connected in ways your civilization hasn't yet imagined. Zix 427 moved to the central console, their crystalline form vibrating with a mix of scientific curiosity and growing concern. Eerie, why are you showing us this? What happens now that the protocol is activated? The A's holographic face showed what might have been amusement. Now they know you're here, and they're curious about you too. Humanity's children have been watching the galaxy's civilizations develop, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Your discovery of this facility, and more importantly, how you've handled that discovery, has provided valuable data. Data for what? Dr. Ven 32 asked, their gaseous form swirling with apprehension. Before Eerie could answer, every display in the facility suddenly activated at once. The quantum network was lighting up with activity. Messages were flowing in from across the galaxy, not in any language the team could understand, but in pulses of pure consciousness. They're voting, Eerie explained, monitoring the quantum traffic, deciding whether your civilization is ready for direct contact, whether you can handle the truth about what humanity has become. The research team watched in awe as the facility hummed with power, processing quantum signals from countless transformed humans across the galaxy. They weren't just witnessing history. They were participating in a moment that would reshape their understanding of not just humanity, but of evolution and consciousness itself. There's something else you should know, Eerie added, her holographic form growing more serious. Project Chrysalis wasn't just about survival or adaptation. It was about preparation. Preparation for what? Zix 427 asked, though something in their crystalline structure suggested they might already suspect the answer. For what's coming, Eerie replied cryptically. The catalyst didn't appear by accident. It was sent. And those who sent it will return. Soon. Humanity didn't just transform itself for fun or scientific curiosity. They transformed because they knew they needed to be ready. The facility's lights pulsed once more, and new data began streaming across the displays. Data that would shake the foundations of everything the galactic community thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. Scattered stars. The facility's quantum network continued to pulse with activity as transformed humans across the galaxy debated the fate of their discovery. Chief researcher Zix-427 and their team waited in tense silence, watching as Eerie processed the incoming quantum signals. "They've reached a consensus," Eerie announced suddenly, her holographic form expanding to fill the chamber. "They're ready to show you what humanity has become." Preparing neural interface adaptation. Dr. Ven-32's gaseous form condensed with concern. "Neural interface. Our species aren't compatible with human technology." "They aren't compatible with old human technology," Eerie corrected, as the facility's walls seemed to shimmer and fade. "But the transformed humans have evolved far beyond such limitations." The research team found themselves surrounded by a series of vivid quantum projections, windows into the lives of humanity's children across the galaxy. Each image was more astonishing than the last. They saw vast living ships cruising through the void between stars, their hulls formed from modified human tissue that fed directly on cosmic radiation. Inside these vessels were the void dwellers, humans transformed into beings of living crystal, their thoughts traveling faster than light through quantum-entangled nervous systems. In the methane seas of distant moons, they witnessed graceful figures whose bodies seamlessly transitioned between solid and liquid states, their consciousness spread through entire oceans of alien worlds. These liquid-form humans had developed a civilization that fought in currents and dreamed in waves. High above the surface of a massive gas giant, floating cities drifted through the upper atmosphere, populated by humans who had evolved to photosynthesize the intense radiation that would have killed their ancestors. Their bodies were translucent, their organs visible as swirling patterns of light and energy. Each adaptation was carefully planned, Eerie explained as the images flowed. But the physical changes were just the beginning. The true transformation was in how they think, how they perceive reality itself. Krell 8's bioluminescent patches pulsed with growing understanding. The quantum network, it's not just for communication, is it? It's their shared consciousness. Correct, Eerie confirmed. Every transformed human is connected to the network, sharing experiences, memories, and knowledge across vast distances instantly. They are many, and they are one. A new projection appeared, showing a massive structure orbiting a distant star. It looked like a cross between a space station and a living organism, its surface covered in what appeared to be enormous neural networks. "The hub," Eerie said, her voice carrying a note of reverence. "The physical manifestation of humanity's shared consciousness. From here, they coordinate their continued evolution and monitor the galaxy for signs of what's coming." Zix-427's crystalline structure vibrated with intense curiosity. "You keep mentioning what's coming. What exactly are they preparing for?" The facility's lights dimmed as Eerie's expression grew serious. The catalyst was a test, sent by beings far older than any known civilization. They seed young species with the potential for transformation, then return to judge whether that potential was realized. Dr. Ven-32 moved closer to the quantum projections, their gaseous form swirling with agitation. "Judge, to what end?" "The universe is changing," Eerie explained. "The fundamental constants that govern reality are shifting ever so slightly. In a few thousand years, the galaxy as you know it will become hostile to all current forms of life. The catalyst makers are preparing species that show promise, giving them the tools to evolve before it's too late." The projection shifted again, showing strange mathematical equations that seemed to twist in impossible ways. Humanity wasn't chosen by accident. Something in their genetic code, their adaptability, their stubborn refusal to accept limitations, it made them perfect candidates for the transformation. But they didn't just accept the gift. Krell 8 observed, their bioluminescence flickering with excitement. They improved upon it. Yes, Eerie agreed. Where other species might have used the catalyst to create a single perfect form, humanity chose to diversify. They transformed themselves into thousands of different subspecies, each adapted to different environments, different possibilities. Unity through diversity. It's a very human approach. Suddenly, the quantum network surged with new activity. The transformed humans had made another decision. They're extending an invitation, Eerie announced. They want to share their knowledge, help prepare other species for what's coming. But they have conditions. Zix 427's crystalline form pulsed with anticipation. What conditions? The knowledge must be shared freely with all spacefaring species. No single civilization can be allowed to monopolize it. And most importantly, each species must be allowed to choose its own path of transformation, just as humanity did. The research team exchanged glances, realizing the weight of the moment. They weren't just making first contact with a transformed humanity. They were being offered a chance to transform themselves, to prepare their own species for a changing universe. There's something else you should see, Eerie said, activating one final projection. It showed Earth, humanity's homeworld, but not as it appeared in historical records. The planet was alive with strange energies, its surface covered in structures that defied conventional physics. They never actually left their cradle, Eerie revealed. They just changed how they existed within it. Earth has been transformed into something beyond your current ability to perceive. It's been there all along, hiding in plain sight, waiting for other species to evolve enough to see it. The facility hummed with power as more data poured in through the quantum network. Humanity's children were awakening across the galaxy, ready to emerge from their long period of observation. The universe was about to change again, and this time, they weren't going to face it alone. First contact redux. The Martian facility's quantum network had been active for 3 standard days when the first physical contact occurred. It wasn't heralded by the arrival of massive ships or dramatic displays of advanced technology. Instead, the air in the central chamber simply shifted. At first, Chief Researcher Zix 427 thought their crystalline sensors were malfunctioning. The space before them seemed to fold in ways that shouldn't be possible, creating patterns that their minds struggled to process. Then they realized they weren't seeing a malfunction. They were seeing one of humanity's children. The being that materialized was simultaneously familiar and utterly alien. Its form shifted between states of matter, like water flowing through different temperatures, yet somehow maintained a vaguely humanoid shape. Within its translucent body, complex patterns of energy pulsed in what appeared to be a quantum-based nervous system. Greetings, it communicated, not through sound, but through direct quantum resonance that everyone present could understand. I am Ambassador Meridian, though that's a simplified translation of my actual designation. I represent the collective consciousness of transformed humanity. Dr. Ven 32's gaseous form swirled with intense emotion as their xenotechnology sensors tried to make sense of the ambassador's existence. Your physiological structure, it's operating on multiple dimensional planes simultaneously. Yes, Meridian's form rippled with what might have been amusement. We found that limiting ourselves to conventional 3-dimensional space was inefficient. But let's focus on why we're here. The ambassador's body projected a series of complex quantum holograms into the air around them. What you've discovered here isn't just humanity's past, it's the galaxy's future. The universe is approaching a fundamental shift, one that will render conventional forms of life impossible. The catalyst makers chose us to help prepare other species for this change. Krell 8's bioluminescent patches pulsed rapidly. But why reveal yourselves now? Why not when you first transformed? Most species need time to adapt to revolutionary concepts, Meridian explained. We've spent centuries watching, learning how different civilizations handle change. Some resist it, clinging to the familiar until it destroys them. Others embrace it so recklessly they lose themselves in the process. We needed to find civilizations capable of walking the middle path, accepting transformation while maintaining their essential nature. The quantum projections shifted to show various alien species throughout the galaxy, including the research team's own civilizations. Your response to finding this facility, approaching it with scientific curiosity rather than fear or greed, marks you as potential candidates for the next phase. Next phase. Zix 427's crystalline structure vibrated with intense interest. You mean transformation. Among other things, Meridian's form shifted like quicksilver, but not exactly as we did it. Each species must find its own path. We offer guidance, not uniformity. Unity through diversity, as your AI friend Eerie mentioned. Eerie's holographic form materialized beside Meridian, their projections interacting in complex patterns. Ambassador Meridian is one of the facility's original subjects, she revealed. One of Dr. Wong's first volunteers. I was also his daughter, Meridian added, her form momentarily taking on a more human appearance. Miranda Wong. I chose to become what you see before you because someone had to build bridges between what humanity was and what it would become. The facility's quantum network suddenly pulsed with new activity. Across the galaxy, other transformed humans were emerging from their observation posts, making contact with various civilizations. The great revelation was beginning. The catalyst makers will return soon, Meridian continued, her form now projecting images of massive structures moving between the stars. Not to judge us, as we once thought, but to welcome those who have successfully transformed into a larger community of evolved beings. Those who haven't, her form rippled with something like sadness, will face the coming changes alone. Dr. Ven 32 moved closer to one of the quantum projections. You're talking about the end of existence as we know it. And the beginning of existence as it could be, Meridian corrected. The universe isn't dying, it's evolving. And it's offering every intelligent species the chance to evolve with it. We're here to help facilitate that process, to share what we've learned from our own transformation. The ambassador's form expanded, filling the chamber with patterns of quantum energy that seemed to dance between dimensions. This facility, these empty pods, they're not just relics of humanity's past. They're templates for the future, tools that can be adapted for any species willing to embrace transformation. The real question is, are you ready to take the first step? Zix 427 looked at their team, seeing in their various forms of expression the same mix of fear and excitement they felt in their own crystalline structure. They were standing at a threshold that would forever change their civilizations, facing a choice that would determine their species' survival in a transforming universe. The pods, they said finally, their translator struggling to convey the complexity of their thoughts. You said they can be adapted. Meridian's form brightened with approval. For any species brave enough to embrace change while remembering who they are, that was humanity's greatest discovery. You don't have to lose yourself to become something more. As if in response to these words, the facility hummed to life around them. The empty pods began to glow with new energy, their internal structures shifting and reforming. But they weren't just changing randomly. They were adapting, preparing themselves for new occupants, new transformations, new possibilities. The future was opening before them, full of both promise and challenge. Humanity hadn't disappeared. They had simply become the architects of evolution itself, preparing the galaxy for a transformation that would reshape the very nature of existence. And now, at last, they were ready to share their greatest gift, the power to choose what you become, while keeping the essence of who you are. The next chapter in the galaxy's story was about to begin. And this time, no species would have to face it alone.